close, standing on the goal line, and recovered, it looked like maybe by Brandon of the Broncos. John Lynch knocked it out.
I think Drew Brees got hurt on that play going for that fumble.
It was a meaningless fumble in the second quarter of a meaningless game and a new chapter in pro football history. The New Orleans Saints, the San Diego Chargers, and NFL legacy will forever be linked to that random loose ball dribbling about the San Diego turf. You see, up until that point, Drew Brees had turned himself into a Pro Bowl quarterback for the Chargers, a guy who was ready to push a very talented San Diego roster to the next step, postseason success.
It is Brees looking end zone, has McCardell, touchdown!
There was just one problem. His contract was up. Oh, and to further complicate matters was one Philip Rivers. In the spring of 2004, right before Brees morphed from middling young talent to one of the league's young guns, Chargers GM A.J. Smith hedged his bets by first drafting Eli Manning, then making a draft day deal for Rivers.
San Diego Chargers and the New York Giants have exchanged their draft picks, Eli Manning and Philip Rivers.
Thinking Brees might never develop, Smith wanted to capitalize on LaDainian Tomlinson's prolific prime and a nucleus that would soon be ready to rock. Only Brees started hurling touchdowns without the negative plays, while Rivers barely took a snap over 2 seasons. Then came Week 17, 2005, and the fumble. Although the Chargers weren't in playoff contention, Brees jumped on that football like his career depended on it.
Oh, that arm gets hyperextended in a very scary position. Philip Rivers is warming up on the San Diego sideline.
The Bolts front office, which would have been lit up for letting a player like Brees walk in free agency, now had their excuse: a torn labrum, damaged goods.
And another vacancy filled on the head coaching front Wednesday as the New Orleans Saints hired the now former Cowboys assistant Sean Payton.
Meanwhile, New Orleans and its new head coach Sean Payton needed a face of the franchise that had been wrecked by Hurricane Katrina. Not to mention a quarterback that could master Payton's offense. Rumors had it that Payton offered the Cowboys a third-round pick for then backup quarterback Tony Romo. But Brees' ailing shoulder made him an accessible target, and the Saints gambled.
These guys really wanted me here, and they really had confidence in me. And obviously the issues with my surgery and everything else, I just felt like they had as much confidence in me as I had in myself, and that really meant a lot to me. And that just made me feel like I belonged here.
Talk about a butterfly effect. The Chargers were content to play the kid out of NC State. Rivers couldn't be any more different than the mostly mild-mannered Brees. Boisterous, talking smack to defensive players,
He's the starters for the league. Act like you've won a game before.
and a delivery more Vince Young than Dan Fouts. In 2006, head coach Marty Schottenheimer greased Rivers' path by doing what Marty Ball always did: run the rock, play conservative, without putting the game on the quarterback. San Diego went 14-2 and set some pretty cool records along the way.
And he will gallop into the end zone. Charger fans are witnesses to history.
Brees with a lot of time. Going to throw it deep downfield. He's got Colston. He's got the ball. It's a touchdown. And I tell you what, Drew Brees couldn't have thrown that ball any better. Here's Brees looking, throwing over the middle, and it's caught by Horn.
Brees played like a pissed-off Tom Brady in 2006, showing every team who ignored him on the market what they were missing, leading the league in passing and getting the Saints to their first NFC Championship game.
What an historic day for the New Orleans Saints and the city of New Orleans.
By 2009, New Orleans owned its first Lombardi trophy. Payton was labeled an offensive genius, and Brees went on an all-time tear, beginning his long march to what will be a Hall of Fame career.
Drew Brees has just passed the legendary Dan Marino for the most passing yards in a single season in NFL history.
There have been 8 5,000-yard passing seasons in NFL history. Drew Brees can lay claim to 4 of them.
And congratulations to Philip Rivers. He is now the all-time leader in touchdown passes thrown in the history of this Charger franchise.
As for Rivers, well, he only became the best quarterback to ever play in San Diego, holding almost every career passing record in Chargers history. And here we are over a decade later, all because of a meaningless fumble in the second quarter of a meaningless game.